Hello, I'm Icy the Ice Cube, and today we're going to learn about phase changes. Let me introduce you to the three types of matter: solid, liquids, and gases. You might have noticed that both gases and liquids do not have a definite shape, but what about solids? Solids. Solids are objects with a definite shape and volume. You might assume that solids are still objects, but if you look under a microscope, there are tiny pieces of matter that are rapidly vibrating around, but in a definite space. There are tiny pieces of matter that are known as molecules. The molecules are packed closely together, which keeps the object together. In other words, it keeps the solid object from falling apart like liquids and gases. What happens when a solid gets the procedure of solids turning into liquids is known as melting. Melting occurs when energy is added to a solid. In other words, when heat is provided to a solid like an ice cube, therefore it turns into liquid. It is caused when the heat is added to an object, the molecules inside the solid start moving more rapidly and faster, which as a result makes them bump into each other and escape the object of a solid and turn into a liquid object. Liquid. The procedure of solids turning into liquid is called melting. Liquid have a definite volume. Liquid. Liquid in liquid, the molecules are moving faster than they are in solids. If you zoom into a liquid, you can see the molecules with little bit more intermolecular force than they were in solids. Liquids have a definite volume and an indefinite shape. When the procedure of liquid changing into gases is known as boiling. Again, boiling occurs when heat is added to liquid. As you learned in our previous slides, that when heat is added to a liquid or to a solid, the molecules start moving faster and faster, interconnecting with each other and eventually losing their form and turning into liquid. And eventually, now they have reached the stage where they turn into gases. Gases has the least amount of intermolecular force with the molecules. And gases do not have a definite shape and do not have a definite volume. Gases have the least amount of vibrating molecules than liquids or solids because the molecules clash into the container or other molecules. That is the only way they move. And also, as we learned, as you heat up a solid, it turns into a liquid, allowing molecules to move more freely. And if you add heat to a liquid, it turns into a gas, which is called boiling. It makes the molecules move even more. Gases have indefinite shape and an indefinite volume. Now you've witnessed the term of phase changing, how Icy the Ice Cube from a ice cube has changed into a gas. But poor Icy wants to change back into a solid, which he was as an ice cube. Is there a way he can turn back into a solid? I don't think so. Icy asked a question to Professor Incredible. Mr. Incredible, is there a way I can turn back into a solid? Yes. That's amazing. Pretty interesting. When gas turns into liquid, the object loses energy. In other words, gas loses energy and transforms into liquid. The procedure of gas turning into liquid is known as condensation. Condensation is when energy is taken away from gas and it turns into liquid. An example of this would be if you leave your hot boiling soup with vapors coming out of it lying in the fridge or anywhere else, it eventually loses energy and turns into liquid, which is the soup itself. The procedure of liquid turning into solid is called freezing. Freezing is when the liquid cools down and turns into solid. And an example for this would be when you put water in an ice tray and leave it in a fridge, it eventually freezes and turns into a solid, an ice cube in this case. As we learned, liquids do not have a definite shape. So, in order to make it an ice cube, we put it into an ice tray. So, the liquid takes the shape of its container, and in that case, it takes the shape of the ice tray and eventually turns into solid. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed our video. These are few words you would like to remember from this video. Melting, the procedure of solid turning into liquid. Freezing, the procedure of liquid turning into solid. Condensation, the procedure of freezing in the case of liquid turning into gases. Molecules, the tiny pieces of matter that are constantly vibrating inside solids, liquids, and gases. Vaporization, another word for boiling, which is liquid to gases when you add heat. Vaporization. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. This is a diagram to help you out. I want to give credits to ec.lthumbs.canstockphoto.com for the picture of IC at the beginning of the video. Thank you.